Hello and welcome to Cable Plus Property, your #1 online educative platform on all issues related to land and landed properties. My name is Oiza. At Cable Plus Property, our aim is to ensure that all Nigerians and non-Nigerians have at the tip of their finger every information related to land acquisition, land procurement, building construction, planning, registration and documentation of land and landed properties. We provide you with everything you need to know about getting your properties registered and obtaining your planning permit. Estate surveying is another aspect of the surveying profession that plays an important role in the built environment. Join me as I speak with Dr. Kuye Olusegun. He's a learned estate surveyor, an author, and a lecturer in the Estate Management and Valuation Department of Yaba College of Technology, Yaba, Lagos, Nigeria. This is Cable Plus Property. The viewer would like to know, what are the steps a person needs to take to engage the service of an estate manager or valuer?
For example, if let me put it this way. Estate Surveyor and Valuers, the qualified one, the competent one, the registered one, we don't usually advertise our activities on the page of newspaper or on electronic media or something. You understand? So it's through our activities that people get to know us. For example, maybe somebody who didn't even know where to go and all that, you could approach the institution. I have a proper associate location. Please, how do I meet, or could you recommend somebody, an estate agent in that area that could help me oversee my property? The institution could help. Then friends could help. Maybe you have friends who previously owned properties and it's been managed for them by the property agent or the estate surveyor and valuer and all that. I have a good agent who is managing my house. It can be recommended. That's why it's always good to be good when you are given a professional duty to do. You do it to the best, because that way you win more clients, to your side. So people will recommend based on, or some people could put up an advert in the newspaper or electronic media. I need a property manager and all that, and that will now write proposal. This is what our activities are. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is our staff strength. These are the facilities we have, and these are exactly what we are going to be doing for you. So there are so many. It depends on how it comes, or the awareness of the property owner, to secure the service of a property agent or an estate agent, as the case may be.
What is the financial cost for engaging the service of an estate manager or valuer?
Thank God, it's not that they just charge you anything. They have a regulatory body, the Estate Surveyors and Valuation Board of Nigeria, who is equally under the Ministry of Works and Housing, that regulates the activities. The SVA board is appointed by board. It's a board appointed by the federal government to oversee some of this work. So they set the fee. For example, you want to get a property manager or an estate agent, and I think the current fee charge is 10% of the rental income of the amount involved. For example, let me break it down a bit. You have a property to be managed, and you are engaging the services of an estate surveyor and valuer or property manager, as the case may be. On rentage, on a rental value, their fee is 10% of that rent collected on your behalf. Then they could render other services, like maybe if there are infrastructures, like maybe if it's a service building. A service building means where you have, the essential things that will make living in that house comfortable. For example, we are talking of generator, you are talking of security, you are talking of cleaners and so on. They don't, all those things that the owner, the building owner, is not supposed to be provided, but which they are providing as, addition to, then they charge what they call service charge. It's a deposit for maintaining those services that are being provided. They charge 10% of that as well. Okay, then valuation. We do insurance valuation for property being managed in order to know the value that property should be insured for in case there is any unforeseen damage to the building. So the owner will not just be at a loss. Oh, I've lost my property and so on. So where you have an experienced property manager in place will have advised you that you need to insure that property. So sometimes the surveyor may do it pro bono, that if to build relationship, they do it for free, or if they are to charge, there's a scale for valuation too, at a graduated scale as approved by government, and has been regulated by the Estate Surveyor and Valuer Board of Nigeria. So it's not that we just charge arbitrary fees or charge what we like. So there's a standard approved scale of charges approved by the federal government of Nigeria.
Does the public have access to this standard charge? Like a random man that has a house and after watching this video wants to employ the services of an estate manager, and he wants to know what the standard is. He accessible to the public?
Of course, if you approach an agent, be a property manager or developer or whatever it is, okay, please can I have a look of your professional scale of fees?
Okay.
Of course, they give the document, you look at it. So it's not something hidden, it's not something secret, it's a public document that everybody have access to. Yes.
You mentioned regulation of estate agents the other time.
Yes.
How are their activities regulated? And I would like you to state specifically the name of the regulatory body. Okay,
the regulatory body is Estate Surveyors and Valuers Board of Nigeria. Estate Surveyors and Valuers Board of Nigeria. Acronym ESV. I mentioned it before.
Yeah.
So it's a government appointed statutory body, just like you have for other professional bodies. You have ACOM for architecture, you have what the name of the one for. So every professional body has a regulatory body as appointed by the federal government of Nigeria to oversee. So that way, as they say, where there is no law, there is no sin. So those professional bodies, those regulatory bodies, have a set standard as to what you can do and what you cannot do. And if you do what you are not supposed to do, there's a penalty. Which is, for example, your stamp as it could be deregistered. You could be banned from practicing, or you could be suspended from for certain number of years. It depends on the nature of the offense. And for example, ESV has another unit. Is a statutory. They are empowered to set up a panel, tribunal, sort of within to look into. So there are guidelines there are guidance for certain, to the extent that their judgment is at par with federal high court. Which judgment can only be appealed to. So if every professional take their case to court and all that, so the court will be jumper. So the government has put a place in structure whereby there could be internal discipline, and the internal whatever discipline that is apportioned is binding, and it can only be appealed if the party concerned is not pleased with the verdict passed, at the appeal court.
Is the regulatory body discriminatory towards, are they in any way preferential, towards managers, toward estate managers and valuers? For example, if the client comes to report the case of an estate manager and valuer, would they in any way be preferential in their judgment?
No, if they do, that means they are violating the law. There are regulations. The regulator is being regulated. There are, we have the Estate Surveyors and Valuer Board. We have an act, a law enacted by the National Assembly as to the establishment or the creation of estate surveying and valuation profession. So there are laws, just like you have all these tax laws, like a withholding tax, like you have a value-added tax, like you have even laws establishing or creating an institution or something. So that's the way it is too. So there's a law enacted, that give back to the Estate Surveyor and Valuation profession. So you have to follow those acts. So there is no preferential treatment, there is no case of bias or anything. And if the reporting client feel bias, he can go to court of of equal competence and table his case. But instead of that, they come to the professional body first and report, and their cases is always properly looked into. Yes.
Okay. During letting of a property in which the transaction is directly between the landlord and the tenant,
Okay.
some landlords demand for agency fee. Like they ask you to pay for agency fee, damages, agreements, commission, and all of that. What do you think about it?
Now,
What is your take on
government has been making efforts, especially government of Lagos has been making effort to ensure that proper things are done. For example, okay, you are demanding for agency fee. Agency fee should be for a service rendered. To who? Who is the beneficiary of that services? Whoever is the beneficiary of that service pays. For example, sorry, if you permit me, assuming if I want to use it as a hypothetical case, you are a landlord, you approach me, I'm a property agent or agency surveyor or something. That's another name that we are called, agency surveyor. So you approach me to let your property. Okay, so it's very criminal of me to now go outside you to ask for agency fee. It's you that is my principal that will pay that agency fee to me because I'm rendering that service on your behalf. So it's like you employed me and you are paying me what I'm entitled to. That agency, but it has to be rated based on the value or amount of money that is involved. So the landlord pays because it's the one we're getting the services of. But now asking a third party to pay you agency fee, no. And that's what government has been trying to emphasize. Whenever I give you a job to do, pay for your services. Yes.
So what then is a tenant meant to pay for? I mean, as a tenant, if you want to rent an apartment for the first time, you're asked to pay, apart from the rent, agency, damages, and all of that. So are you saying the tenant is meant to only pay the rent?
You pay the rent, yes, that's all. You pay the rent, that's all. But the only instances where the tenants may have to pay any other money is if it's a statutory a corporate tenant. A corporate tenant is if a company is taking a property, the laws demand that you pay is it 5% withholding tax now. So let me give you the arithmetic. For example, you are letting a house. I'm letting a house from you. You are the property owner. I'm letting a house from you, and the value is the rental value is about let's say 1 million naira. Okay, the law requires that you pay 10% withholding tax. Yeah, it's 10%. 10% withholding tax from that money. But some landlords will stylishly put that burden on the tenants.
Yes.
Incoming tenant. Whereas the decision is supposed to be that you take 10% out of that money. So you raise 2 checks. Like where I worked before joining the college, that's what we always tell our corporate tenants. You raise 2 checks. One, 900,000 for the net rent going to the landlord. The other one, 100,000 to be paid as withholding tax to the government. You raise the check in the name of the statutory body that will collect the money from you. Because the idea is, if you give the landlord the 1 million naira, nothing may come out of it. And the statutory tenant must show, the corporate tenant must show that they paid withholding tax on the rent that they paid, which is showing in their books. Are you following? But some will stylishly say, okay, what we are giving is net of all charges, net of tax or net of other charges. The net of tax there is the withholding tax they are talking about.
So what would you advise a tenant who is asked to pay all of these fees?
Well, it's to be properly educated, to be properly informed, to seek advice, and to go to a competent, duly registered surveyor and valuers company, to transact business. If you go to quacks, they will ask you for so many possibles. For example, let's talk about legal fees. It's one of those illegal collection that people and Lagos State government is trying this area to correct this anomaly. For example, there is nowhere written in the law that because you are taking a property for somebody, you pay legal fees to that person. No, I have the right, as a tenant, I have the right to bring my lawyer, and I will still pay my lawyer his fees. And if the landlord opted to use his own lawyer to prepare the legal documents, then the landlord pay his lawyer now. Why should the tenant be made to pay for the services enjoyed by the property owner? It's not fair now.
As a professional, I'd like you to speak about these fees and what really do they mean. Agency fee, which we already talked about, so we leave that out. Damages and agreement.
Okay, agreement is the agency fee. Agreement is the legal fees.
Oh.
Yes, which is meant to pay by whoever is bringing his lawyer into the transaction. If, for example, you may be given, if you permit me, let me elaborate more a bit. You are taking a property. The person taking that property could opt that, I have a lawyer that will prepare the agreement. You understand? So all they need to do is, all the landlord's agent need to do is give the summary of what what they want incorporated into that agreement. The landlord will have his say, who is the video owner, has to protect his investment now. Of course, that's not natural. They don't have to want to protect his own interest so that he's not duly thrown out of the house. So he could say, okay, my lawyer will prepare. So he pays his lawyer. If the property owner says, I have a lawyer, then he pays his lawyer. But not using the other person to pay for the services enjoyed by another person. It's not good now. And this is what government has been talking, Lagos State government has been talking about. But people don't want to understand, because that thing has entered our mentality that, you have to pay agency fee, you have to pay agreement. The damages is a refundable deposit,
which they never refund.
Well, if you ask for. Okay, now it's always very funny. Okay, you took a house, you took a lease of a house, of a property, and you stay in that building for like 10 years. And maybe at the initial time you pay the rent, you pay, and including refundable deposit. That's what they call it, refundable. That's the name. That's the caption. Refundable deposit. It could be 10% of the rental value or 20%, depends on the nature of property and all that. So, and it's not in all cases that refundable deposit is demanded for. There are some specialized properties, maybe by virtue of, maybe if it's a serviced apartment. Serviced apartment means, you just bring your clothes and your food, start eating. Refrigerator is there, bed is there, window blinds, all that. So you don't need to bring anything, except you are not pleased with what the landlord has provided. So because of a service apartment, there is no way error is bound to occur. Damage is bound to occur. If the damage occurred due to the neglect of the tenant, who pays? And you may be asking the tenant to pay, maybe saying, okay, you have his deposit with you, which you can use part of, all of it, or now demand for the balance if the deposit is not enough. That's because what that refundable deposit is for. And if throughout the leasehold term or leasehold period and all that, and you didn't spoil or damage anything, and you are not even defaulting in paying your electricity bill, so you are bound to, it's duty bound for that money to be returned. It's a deposit. It's not part of the rent. It's not part of anything. It's paid against any unforeseen damage that may occur.
Thank you very much for watching this video. I trust that you have learned a lot about another aspect of the surveying profession, which is estate surveying and valuation. Okay, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like the video, share with friends, family and colleagues. Head on to Facebook and Instagram, like our Facebook page at Cable Plus Property, and follow us on Instagram at Cable Plus Property, so you can be notified when we upload our next video. My name is Oiza and this is Cable Plus Property.